After Starrcade 93, the Flair-Vader rivalry intensified. Flair and Sting battled Vader and Rick Rude in a tag team match at Clash of the Champions, where Vader hurt Flair's back with a superplex. The matchup for SuperBrawl had already been confirmed, but the new WCW commissioner, Nick Bockwinkel, attempted to delay it. However, Vader assaulted Ricky Steamboat, who was set to compete against the winner of Flair-Vader. Rick witnessed the attack and insisted that Bockwinkel reinstate the match. Nick ultimately agreed, provided that Flair received a medical clearance. He then declared that the boss would serve as the special referee for the contest. This rematch for the WCW title would occur inside the Thunder Cage, which is the former Thunderdome cage that WCW had used before. Yet, that is not the only Thunder Cage match scheduled for this event. Sting, Dustin Rhodes, and Brian Pillman will take on Rick Rude, Paul Orndorff, and U.S. champion Steve Austin. Sting and Rude commenced their rivalry over the WCW International World title, while Austin and Pillman continued their feud following the dissolution of the Blondes. Additionally, Rhodes had a history of feuds with all three men, so the rivalries were merged into a single grudge match. Meanwhile, Bobby Heenan has arrived in WCW to provide commentary. Lord Steven Regal defends the television title against former multi-time champion, Arn Anderson, and the Nasty Boys defend the tag team championships against Cactus Jack and Max Payne, along with 4 additional contests to take place at WCW SuperBrawl IV. Johnny B. Bad appears for what was scheduled to be the first match. He activates a few bad blasters and showers the ringside area in confetti that remains there for the duration of the show. However, Michael Hayes is then seen in a wheelchair. Jimmy Garvin pushes him down the ramp, and Mean Gene and Nick Bockwinkel meet them. Gene inquires about what is occurring, but Hayes takes a moment to commend Bockwinkel for becoming commissioner. Then, Hayes asserts that he slipped on the stairs, while Garvin claims he slipped on a banana peel. Hayes insists that he is injured, prompting Gene to request a doctor's note. Hayes accuses Gene of labeling him a liar, while Garvin presents a doctor's note. Bockwinkel reads it aloud as Garvin mentions he could defeat Bad with one arm. Nick grins and places the note into Hayes' bandages. He then cites the Freebird rule and states that Garvin must take Hayes' place later in the show. Garvin responds that he's retired, but Gene suggests they can arrange some gear for him. Bockwinkel warns of fines and suspensions if Garvin fails to comply. Much to Bobby the Brain's dismay, Garvin and Hayes head back to regroup, and Harlem Heat enters the arena for their match with Thunder and Lightning. Cole and Lightning begin the match, and Lightning takes the upper hand against both him and Kane with shoulder tackles and arm work. Cole experiences the same treatment before they double-team him. Nevertheless, Kane diverts Thunder's attention, allowing Cole to clothesline him to the floor. Kane slams Thunder into the rail, and Harlem Heat double-teams him for a period. Thunder retaliates with a sunset flip, but Cole tags Kane as he goes to the mat. Harlem Heat persists with the double teaming until Cole misses a flying elbow drop. Following that, Lightning tags in and clears the ring, but the match devolves into a brawl. Lightning tries an O'Connor roll on Cole, but Kane kicks him in the ear while the referee is distracted, and Cole covers for the victory. After a brief backstage segment with Mean Gene Okerlund attempting to access the dressing rooms of Ric Flair and Vader, the second match gets underway between the Equalizer and WCW newcomer, Jungle Jim Steele. Steele immediately hits arm drags, but the Equalizer answers with forearms and rams him into the corner. Steele then returns the favor and surprises Equalizer with a roll-up before they trade arm holds. Then, Steele hits a monkey flip and a dropkick, but Equalizer blocks another flip. He then hits a slam and a leg drop before tossing Steele to the floor. He rams Jim into the apron and starts working the ribs before locking Steele in a bear hug. Steele surprises him with a crucifix pin, but Equalizer continues the attack. Jim tries to fight back again, but Equalizer surprises him with a boot and throws him to the floor. However, Steele catches him at the ropes. Then, there's a miscommunication on a whip before Jim hits a Fez press called the Steel Trap and gets the win. Diamond Dallas Page, DDP, returns to WCW to take on Terry Taylor in the next match. DDP attempts to utilize the Diamond Doll as a diversion, but Taylor intercepts a kick and brings him down to the mat. He additionally flips him over and works on the arm until Dallas regains his composure. Taylor drags him back into the ring and they exchange reversals on a sunset flip before DDP seizes control with a slam and a powerful forearm. Page then delivers shoulder blocks, punches, and a slam along with a gutbuster. He continues with a back suplex and a cobra clutch, but Taylor ultimately tosses Page off of him. DDP consistently counters Taylor's comebacks with a facebuster and a forearm, but he fails to connect on a corner charge and Taylor rolls him up for the victory. Finally, Johnny B. Bad sees action at the event against gorgeous Jimmy Garvin rolling Michael Hayes down the aisle in a wheelchair. They reach a deadlock before exchanging mad reversals, leapfrogs, and holds. Garvin repeatedly regroups to communicate with Hayes, who taunts Bad throughout the bout. Bad consistently gains control and works on Garvin's arm. Jimmy attempts to counter by grabbing the hair, but he gets caught and regroups once more. Garvin ultimately catches Bad off guard with a boot and drives him into the corner before applying a sleeper hold. Bad escapes, but Garvin executes a knee strike and tries for a DDT. However, Johnny backdrops him several times and follows up with a flying head scissors. Next, Bad aims for the kiss that doesn't miss, left hook, but Garvin evades it. Bad catches him with the right hand instead and then performs a flying sunset flip for the victory. After the match, Bad pursues Hayes. He threatens to strike Michael with the kiss that doesn't miss, but Garvin attacks him and shoves him into the ring. Hayes then tosses Garvin his boot, leading Jimmy to deliver the 911. Garvin escorts Hayes to the back while Michael comments that attack is on Bockwinkel's hands. Arn Anderson looks to regain the WCW Television Championship versus Lord Steven Regal in the next contest. Arn keeps getting the advantage early with headlocks, so Regal complains he's hurting his ear. Then, they trade arm holds and do a test of strength. Regal kicks up out of it, but Arn takes him to the mat for more arm work until Regal fights back with European uppercuts. Regal tries to return the favor, but Anderson takes him to the post and rams Regal's arm into it. He regroups with Sir William and checks on the time before catching Arn with forearms. Regal then grabs a cravat and holds onto it through a slam. He also tries some pin attempts, but Arn attacks the thigh to stop it. The arm work continues until Regal returns to the uppercuts and forearms, but Arn regains control again. This time, Regal uses a ref distraction so William can use his umbrella on Anderson. Regal begins locking Arn in various mat holds, such as a half crab and a variation of the Regal stretch. However, Arn goes after Regal's leg and attempts a figure four. Regal blocks it and sends Arn to the floor. William attacks again, which causes a fan to call him a son of a bitch. Arn answers by attacking the leg once more before both men trade punches, forearms, and pin attempts. Then, Arn hits the spine buster and goes for the cover, but William puts Regal's arm on the ropes and Anderson chases him. Arn catches Regal at the ropes and goes for a slingshot sunset flip, but Regal grabs hold of William's umbrella to stop the momentum. He then sits down on Arn and gets the 3 count with mere seconds left in the match. In the next contest, the Nasty Boys put the World Tag Team titles on the line against the duo of Cactus Jack and Max Payne. Max and Knobs begin the match, and Max performs suplexes on both Nasty Boys. He also delivers a Uranagi and a power slam to them before tagging Cactus. Cactus takes control of the ring, and then he and Max execute a double elbow drop on Knobs. They regroup and attempt to double team Cactus, but he intercepts Knobs with a leg drop across the bottom rope. Following this, Max re-enters and connects with a facebuster, but they strike his knee and target his leg. This continues until Knobs fails to land a diving leg drop and Cactus comes back into the match. He takes charge, sends Knobs to the floor with a Cactus clothesline, and attempts the Cactus elbow. However, Sags interrupts him. They then remove the mat and send Jack crashing onto the concrete. They also smash his head against the rail. Jack is spitting up blood from the assault, yet the Nasty Boys keep attacking him. They alternate putting him in a Boston Crab, but Max uses a distraction with the referee to pull Cactus nearer to the corner. The referee misses the initial tag, but Jack eventually tags again, and Max takes control. He slams Knobs onto his head and shoulder with a belly-to-belly before trapping him in the painkiller. Sags, sensing defeat, grabs the guitar and strikes Max, resulting in a disqualification. The first Thunderdome cage match is next, featuring Sting, Dustin Rhodes, and Brian Pillman taking on WCW International World Champion Rick Rude, US Champion Steve Austin, and Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. It seems that Orndorff will begin, but Sting provokes Rude into the ring with him. Rude initiates the match with several forearms, but Sting responds with a backdrop and a few clotheslines. Rude, Orndorff, and Austin all retaliate by attacking Sting's arm, but Austin injures his knee during the leapfrog. Sting attempts to take advantage with a Scorpion Deathlock, but Rude's team intervenes. Pillman then comes into the match and fights on the floor with Austin until Steve sends him crashing into the cage wall. Orndorff also strikes Brian and drives him into the cage until he starts to bleed. Following this, Rude's team targets Pillman's cut in his neck, yet Brian catches Austin off guard with a dropkick during the flying axe handle attempt. Sting and Orndorff then join the match, with Sting dominating with clotheslines before slamming Paul into the cage several times. Afterward, Sting tags Rhodes, who delivers elbows to everyone until Orndorff yanks him into the corner and tags Rude. They trade punches, and Dustin attempts a bulldog, but Rude counters by crouching him on the turnbuckles and executing a super back suplex. He also ensnares Dustin in a bear hug and transitions it into a belly-to-belly before Austin re-enters the match. However, Dustin hurls Austin into the cage, where Steve injures his knee. This creates an opportunity for Pillman to come back, and the match escalates into a brawl. Sting clears both Orndorff and Rude, then press slams Pillman onto Austin for the victory. After the match, the fight persists. Sting wards off Rude and Orndorff, but Rude crashes the cage door onto Sting's face and delivers a rude awakening. He then throws his sweat into Sting's face and exits the cage while everyone checks on Sting. The main event of SuperBrawl IV would be a rematch from Starrcade '93. Ric Flair defends the WCW World Championship against Big Van Vader inside the Thunder Cage. Vader grabs a chair, but the boss insists he dispose of it. Then, the boss secures the cage door while Harley Race advises him not to fret about it. Vader charges in, but Flair dodges and pummels him in the corner using chops, punches, and thumbs to the eyes. He subsequently knocks Vader outside the ring and assaults him with a chair until it splinters against the cage. They return to the ring, where Rick removes Vader's mask and delivers more punches, propelling Vader into the far corner. To everyone's surprise, Vader executes a Flair flip, but he catches him off guard with an avalanche maneuver. He then delivers a power slam, followed by a Vader bomb, before attempting a moonsault. Flair evades him, but Vader lands on his feet. He then tosses Flair to the ground and distracts the boss while Harley chokes and attacks him. After that, both wrestlers exchange blows again until Flair begins choking and biting him. Unfortunately, Vader unleashes another avalanche that sends Flair crashing to the mat, and Harley strikes once again. Vader follows up with a superplex, which is the maneuver that caused Flair's injury. However, he misses a few elbow drops. Race makes another attempt to interfere, but the boss apprehends him and tries to restrain him to the cage. Vader thwarts this and cuffs the boss instead, allowing Race to take the key and enter through the door before securing it once more. Vader and Race then target Flair while he valiantly continues to fight. Arn and Steamboat arrive and attempt to unlock the cage, but the assault persists. Flair even wields a chair, but it's insufficient. Vader appears to have the upper hand, but the boss finally breaks free from the handcuffs and strikes Vader with a nightstick. Flair then traps Vader in the figure four, and the boss insists on ringing the bell as if Vader has conceded. After the bout, Vader throws a tantrum and demands justice. He pounds on the cage and guardrail with a nightstick, insisting he wants to hear Bockwinkel's explanation. Coming out of SuperBrawl, the Nasty Boys wouldn't see the last of Cactus Jack, as he'd return to take away the World Tag Team Championships alongside Kevin Sullivan at Slamboree the following May. The issue between Vader and the boss stemming from his involvement in the world title match at SuperBrawl persisted, and would lead to a one-on-one matchup at the next pay-per-view event, Spring Stampede, where Sting would challenge Rick Rude for the WCW International World title. Though currently on good terms, Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat are once again on a collision course as Steamboat is named the #1 contender during the broadcast and signed to meet the winner of the match between Flair and Vader. Flair prevailed, and for the third consecutive decade, a rivalry for the ages is renewed.